What happens when you are a wife appliance and your husband no longer wants you? What happens when he wants to upgrade you? He can discard you. And this is the reason why I will continue to come on here and say you need to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P. I'm about to play you a video clip and I'll come in on the back end for us to have this discussion, because we keep needing to have these discussions, because on one hand in society, they are telling women that we need to go back to this, that you need to submit to your husbands, that feminism is wrong and feminists are just bitter and angry. But what about the wife appliances that get discarded? What happens to them? And saying empty things like she should have chose better, or what did she do, or she just needs to get a job. What happens to these women? Because they are not actually appliances, they're humans. So let's go ahead and take a look at this woman's video.
So y'all want to know the scariest thing, and it's happening to me now, is being a female, married. I'm 37. I have 2 kids. They're 5 and 7. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 10 plus years. I have no income. I have no money. I use my husband's credit card and I use my husband's money. And 2 weeks ago, he told me that he wants to move forward with divorce. Today, I literally, like, I use an American Express credit card for everything. It's got my name on it, but obviously he pays the bill. He told me he's gonna cut it off, and I gotta, like, move all the automatic payments and stop using it. And he said, you need to start using your own card now. What card? I don't have a card. That is my card. Terrifying. I mean, I feel like a little girl who needs their mommy because I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't, like, it's just terrifying. Terrifying.
So this woman right here, Courtney Gets Fit, she's going viral right now because she's been a stay-at-home mom for over 10 years. She has this caption up and her video is only like 90 seconds. But she says right here, no one prepares you for how financially vulnerable stay-at-home moms really are. Society paints it as a privilege to sacrifice everything for your family. They say that this is what you were put here to do, that you were put here solely. Your role is just to be a wife and a mother. But what happens when you are a wife appliance that gets discarded? What do you do then? How do you pick up the pieces? Because being a stay-at-home mom can financially devastate a woman. This part right here where she looks at the camera and tells us, and I wrote it down, I feel like a little girl who needs their mommy because I don't know how to take care of myself. This is that vulnerability, that risk that you take when you are solely dependent on somebody else. If you never learn how to get your footing, you never get any kind of financial independence or get your career together, this is the risk that you take. She says right here that no one prepares you for how financially vulnerable you are as a stay-at-home mother. But there are some of us that do speak, but we get cast as being jealous or being angry or, just being modern women. Modern women get all kind of negative insults thrown at us. And there are just some of us that are just like, you need to have plans, B, C, D, L, M, N, O, P, all of the plans. I say these things all the time. So since she said that no one prepares you, all right, bet. Let's talk about it. I do think that some younger ladies, once they have been chosen, once they got the ring, they're like, aha, I made it. And then sometimes they turn off their ears to older women or divorced women because they think that these women are jealous of them, when these women are the ones that have seen the things, have gone through the things, and know and understand the pitfalls of being completely financially dependent on someone. So at some point, these young ladies, and this is the reason why I continue to try to speak on these things, need to listen to women. And I think that like these men have been very effective at triangulating younger women against the older ladies and saying that they are just bitter. Like, we chose you. You are beautiful. You're young. They're just old and used up and bitter. And so the younger women turn off their ears. And so then they convince these women to be financially dependent. I got you. I will take care of you. But that dependability, that financial dependence on them means that you are controllable. And that is the reason why this woman is terrified, because she's controllable because she has absolutely nothing to her name. And now she's about to go off into the world. She said that she hasn't worked in over 10 years. So what she has, even if she does have some credentials, she has this big old chunk of out of her work history that is going to jack her up. She's not going to be prepared for the cost of childcare. She's not going to be prepared for the younger people that are vying for these spots. She's been out of the game for a long time, if she even has any credentials. And like, how do you get started when you have absolutely nothing to your name? People like me we say these things. We've been there. We've seen that. We've seen other people try to pick up the devastation of their lives after going through divorces and seeing women do this. And like, we talk about it, but it goes in one ear and out the other, or just no one's listening because we get labeled as masculine, as modern women. We just hate families or whatnot. Being a mother does take a lot of sacrifice. It absolutely does. Family planning is financial planning, though, and it does impact your retirement. So imagine you're doing all of this unpaid labor. You're working within your home at all times, from sun up to sundown. You are working in your home. This is all unpaid labor. And just as soon as you, wife appliance, gets discarded, it doesn't matter all of the things that you did back here. No one cares. There's nothing on your Social Security credits. There's nothing in your retirement savings. And only a small percentage of women actually get alimony. And yes, you can get awarded child support, but if you haven't looked into how much childcare costs as much as your rent or mortgage these days. This is going to be financially devastating for women like this. So this is the reason why we have got to keep on hammering home how these situations impact women. And you have got to really be on your P's and Q's. You got to know and understand your finances. You got to know and understand his finances, because you can have the best relationship right now, but you don't know what's going to go on 10 years from now, 11 years from now, 20 years from now, when you get discarded. You can see right here that this has over 15,000 comments. This is definitely getting people talking. And I hope that women far and wide see these types of comments, see these videos, because we do need to get women prepared. So Holy Ish said, is honing in on no one prepares you. And then she says, except the millions of women who have been telling us all for generations now to make sure you secure an education and income before getting married, or at the very least squirrel away an emergency fund if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom. There are women like us that are saying these things, but sometimes women, like I said in the beginning, turn off their ears. That's what Mind Garden says. Not every woman had that. Many women grew up with traditional, aka abusive households, and no model of a healthy relationship and boundaries. And that's absolutely true too. Some women grew up in this situation and had no other role models and didn't know what they don't know. And they don't know that they need to be squirreling away because their mothers and grandmothers didn't tell them to prepare for a rainy day. She continues with women telling their stories and technology, allowing us to hear each other's experiences and learn from them is a very new experience. And that could be, and that is probably why things like TikTok, they want to ban it. They want to stop women from talking. They want to stop us from getting these videos out and sharing these experiences because they want women in a controllable and a vulnerable position. Wednesday says there was a whole global movement where we fought for our rights to work, vote, own property, and have bank accounts of our own. It was called feminism, and some women allowed men to convince us it was cringe. you do have anti-feminist women. Anti-feminist women are traitors. They don't want women to be financially independent. They want them to be controllable and vulnerable. They are the enemy. Don't listen to anti-feminist women. And sometimes it takes them having to touch the stove before they know how unwise that is to be financially dependent and completely controllable. They won't know how vulnerable they were or are until they get discarded. Carrie says, this should be a warning to all women. Being a stay-at-home mom is a dangerous game to play. There are risks involved, and you need to know and understand the risk, because what do you do? This is the reason why we will continue to have these conversations in the public square. This is the reason why it is so important to share your stories and not shame women for sharing their stories. Some people are like, why are you airing your dirty laundry out? We are, because it helps the next woman. Maybe it's going to help the next woman know and understand that she needs to create something for herself before she just relinquishes all of her financial freedom to somebody. Nani says, I do, but I also have an established career and a side hustle which still pays bills. To be completely dependent is a bad idea. Always have a backup plan. And then Think Pink says, okay, so you work from home. She works from home. She has an income. So this is not the same thing as being a stay-at-home mom. I used to be a stay-at-home mom. I was a stay-at-home mom without an income. Now I am a work-from-home mom. There is a difference. If you already know that you want to be a hands-on mom, you want to be there for the day in and day out and all of the rigmarole that includes, try to figure out something beforehand that you know can translate to working from home. Try to figure that out beforehand, before you meet the guy, before you start settling into married life and having children. Start thinking ahead before you even get to that point. All right, y'all, I'm gonna end it there. Keep talking, keep sharing. Let's keep warning the ladies, keep talking to the teenagers. Talk to the teenagers so you don't end up at a 37 trying to figure things out that you should have figured out at 22.